What's up? What's up? We are getting ready to talk about all things Calendar Club. Calendar Club. For those who don't know what it is, I'm trying to put this pinned comment up here. We get my man Jesse in here in a second. Hold up. Flip that around. Hold on. Here we go. All things Calendar Club. Let's see. Pin the comment. All right. Without further ado, let me get my man Jesse in here. He's coming. The man himself, who has already completed the Calendar Club. Here he is. What up, Jesse? What up?
What's up, Mr. O'Brady? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How you feeling?
You got much better lighting than me.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the sun's out today for the first time. So,
Wait. This is like a professionally lit stage that you're on.
Yeah,
I'm in a
Jenna's over
human,
here.
no,
She's
this is
shining.
this is a regular human environment right now. You're in like a CBS studio. You have hair and makeup done.
Yeah,
too?
hair and makeup was here earlier. I've got the nice big soundstage here. It's really, quite profound. So, you remember in February when you did that? When you did that Calendar Club?
Yes, I do. You see these ankles? They remember it too.
We've had a lot of people writing questions today, but let's just kick it off and tell people what it is. Tell people what Calendar Club is for those that don't know.
You Zoom freezing me?
No, I'm not Zoom freezing you.
Okay, there you go. You're back up.
There we go. Good.
There you go. You're very well lit, but your Wi-Fi might be whacked out in Oregon.
Yeah, probably. Tell the people what Calendar Club is. You did it, you invented it, you created it. Like, drop the knowledge.
Yeah. So this is an idea that was born a couple of months ago. A friend of mine, Austin Cohn, kind of came up with it. Then we tweaked it, named it the Calendar Club, and then I tested it out. He made it to day 11. But basically, what you do is every day for the month that you're in, you run the amount of miles that corresponds to the day of the month. So March, April 1, you run 1 mile, April 2, 2 miles, all the way up until April 30th. And you try to, you don't miss a day. You can do it however you want to do it. So you can break the miles up into, on the 9th, you could do 3 miles in the morning, 3 miles at lunch, 3 miles for dinner. You could do them all at once. But it's relentless, man. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Yeah,
465. 465 miles.
So let me say this. I've done a couple of ultra marathons. Even when I was running a 100-mile race, the most I ever ran in a week was maybe 90 or 100 miles leading up to that. Yeah. And when you get into like 130, 150, 170 miles in a week, for regular humans like us, that's hard, man. Unless you're like an ultra runner, that's really crazy.
I was a professional triathlete, so I put a lot of running in those days. Candidly, I haven't run that much that recently. But even in professional triathlon, when I was racing Ironman and stuff like that, like I never got up to anywhere near like 100, 180 miles in a week. No way. So this will be the most I've ever run in a week by far. So a lot of people like asking certain questions. I think this is kind of cool because we can put a couple of them up. Let's see here. So like one question, can you see that? Did that come up for you?
Yeah.
Can you talk about the last 10 days and injury prevention? Like a lot of people have been asking that. People that are watching, you can put questions by hitting questions in the box. Because first of all, I'm inspired to do this because of Jesse. Jesse's going to be running some of the miles, hopefully a lot of the miles, but he just did this. So, but he's supporting in a lot of different ways with the charitable component and everything. But this is one of the questions that a lot of people have been asking both of us today, which is about injury prevention. Like, obviously, we don't want anybody to get hurt, which is cool because other people can join, be a part of this by getting a team, doing the kilometers, doing it in different ways. But if you're going to do all the miles, even for me, I have this question, like, what are the keys to injury prevention? Did you split it up? Like, how did that work for you?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think, well, first of all, just to back up before I answer that, like in business or anything else, for me, this was a ready, fire, aim thing. I thought about it the day, like the first day of the month. I didn't do any research. I didn't really project out. I just got into it and I'm like, I'm going to figure it out as I go. So for a lot of people that are going to attempt this, a lot of this is just figure it out as you go and see what works best for you. So what works best for me might not work best for you, Colin, or for anybody asking any of these questions. And I'm going to answer this question specifically, but I'm going to say the biggest thing for me was getting the miles in early. And it's no
early in the
different
day, like early, like get up early and bank some miles.
Because the clock is your friend, but the clock can also be your enemy.
Yeah.
So you want to get ahead of the clock and bank some miles early when you get to the last 10 days. Because if you get to 3 o'clock and you owe 27 miles or 5 o'clock, it's tough, especially if weather rolls in and a lot of unpredictable stuff happens. So, and I've also found, again, anything in life, and that's why I love challenges like this. You learn a lot about yourself that you can apply to so many different buckets because the task is so great, right? When I started Marquee Jet, Colin, you know, one of the businesses I had, if they would have said to me, you know what, Jesse, before you start this business, you're going to have to get Department of Transportation approval, FAA approval. You're going to have to raise $5 million. You're going to have to find customers, build this. I'd be like, I'm 27 years old. I was a kiddie pool attendant. I worked at a kiddie pool 4 years ago. It's too great a task.
Yeah.
But when you start to chip away at those last 10 days and you're like, well, wait a second. I got to find a lawyer that has Department of Transportation approval. And he can, once I get that and now I need FAA approval. Let me find someone that you chip away.
That's you figure it out piece by piece,
piece
by piece.
So specifically to the question about injuries, everything I did was about conservation. It was about not going fast, preserving my body. So when I got to day 18 I switched from running the miles to a system that I've used. And I'm not embarrassed to say this. It's not belittling my effort. I switched to a system that was 6 minutes of running and 4 minutes of walking.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did it was to lower the impact. So I would just consistently run 6 minutes, walk 4 minutes. Actually, I was doing 7 minutes and 3. Run 7 minutes, walk 3. Run 7 minutes, walk 3.
And you were able to cover the distance because I know you also did a similar thing in one of the 100-mile races that you did, and you actually crushed the time. Like you guys were one of the top percentile finishers because you were able to dole your energy out kind of appropriately over time. Is that right?
I've always, what's that? The tortoise and the hare or something? What's that? What's the story?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was always the tortoise.
But you keep moving, you keep banking, you keep moving forward.
Constant forward motion.
Yeah.
Relentless forward motion. And that's always my motto in everything. It's just keep chipping away and advancing in everything. So when I got to those last 10 days, I maintained the consistency of that walk run. And then I also broke the runs up into 3 or 4 segments. I mean, so I was working full time and I have 4 kids under 10 that I take care of basically full time. So if I could find 20 minutes, I go and run quick 9-minute pace, 2 miles and book it.
I remember watching you do it in February, and it was amazing because obviously just you and I both, we speak a lot. We're flying around all the place. Obviously the moment in time we're living in is a little bit different, but you'd be in a parking lot in Vegas, getting some miles in, going on stage, speaking, flying back, being at your son's, baseball practice, running around the field out there afterwards.
You know why I love this challenge? Because it was a lesson. It was a lesson in efficiency. Because I didn't have the last 10 days, 12, not even 10, last 15 days, when you're investing 3-4 hours of running, I'm a slow runner. I get to the finish line no matter what, but I'm slow.
Right.
When you're investing that much time, you can't watch the Kardashians.
Right.
You can't dilly-dally. And so you start eliminating fake meetings and all the stuff that takes up your time, and you start reprioritizing what's important to you. Finishing this was important to me because anybody that attempts this will go through a period that is 2 choices. You're either going to say to yourself, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to resent myself for quitting, or the only other outcome is I finish. And that was my mindset. That's always my mindset. I'm
Yeah.
talking to the master. It's like, I feel like I'm talking to someone that's the first timer. You're the master of this.
No, man, but it's good though. I mean, it's a good, and there's a lot of people on here. So we've got like a couple hundred people already signed up to join the calendar club, which is amazing. I think we're going to get more, by the time we kick off tomorrow. But if you haven't joined and you're listening to this, I pinned the comment. There's a link in my bio of my Instagram profile where you can sign up, just basically just your email address, and lets us know how you're doing it. Couple ways to do it. You can run all the miles, which is kind of the number one challenge, is what Jesse did. But we want a lot of people to participate. So even if you haven't been a lifelong runner, you could do the kilometers. I think one of the cool things people are doing is people are getting a team together. So they're getting 3 or 4 people, their friends, still virtually not running together because we're keeping up social distancing. But they're going if you got 4 people, on the last day, you're each running 7.25 miles. Like that, that's a big challenge for people that don't run a lot, but that's really still a cool thing to participate. So it's amazing to get people involved in lots of different ways. Let's see. I got a couple of questions coming in, so
I'm laughing at some of the comments about the Zoom freeze.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. One of the persons is about, I think this is an important one, which is like the recovery. So you talked about, you talked a little bit about, I'm going to answer it briefly from my own experience, but I'd like to hear your specific on this. But it's about recovery, which is, there's the moments when you're doing the miles and things when I've done long things like pulling my sled across Antarctica or just recently rowing the boat across Drake Passage. It was like I was 90 minutes of rowing, 90 minutes of resting, 90 minutes of rowing, 90 minutes of resting. But the really key component was on the rest. Like, I always say this, you got to rest hard. Like people say you got to run hard, you got to train hard. Like I say, you got to rest hard. It's like you got to take that just as seriously almost as getting that right nutrition in, getting the right sleep in. The first few days you can get away with it, but I want to hear your experience. Like you said, when it got down and you were limiting all the other kind of superfluous things in your life, I got to believe there was some level of recovery or some thought process when you're like, you finish up at 7 p.m. with a 24-mile day, like that tomorrow's coming real quick for 25 miles. Like, how'd you deal with that?
Yeah, there's 2 forms of recovery. There's physical recovery and there's obviously mental recovery. So let me address both. On the physical side, I'm fortunate enough to have a cold plunge. And if you don't, you can just fill up a cold bath. I'm a big believer in cold therapy. So I would do that. I would elevate my legs. I would get off my feet. But to be honest, I didn't really have any really challenges with that. And I don't know why. I know it's a ton of miles. First of all, this is going to sound crazy. You're running yourself into shape.
Yeah.
You're just consistently running. Again, I went slowly. It wasn't about no one asked me how long did it take you. They just said, did you finish? So I took my time. I'm not embarrassed to say that I walked some of it, and I was very aware. If I had an issue, a small problem, I addressed it before it became a big problem. So I took care of blisters. And because you have the luxury.
I think that's super key. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but to me, that has always been super key. Even when I'm climbing a mountain or something like this, if I get the tiniest little hot spot, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to deal with that in an hour. I'm going to whatever. Like, I stop right then and take care of it. And if you're on day 10 and you rip up your heels or something on a run, like day 11 through 20 are going to be brutal. It's like, take care of the little things before they become the big things. I'm always been a big believer in that. Echo that for sure.
Right. And because you have the luxury of time, it's not a race against the clock. You can go and change your sneakers, change your socks. If your socks are wet. I mean, I was in seven or 8 different states during this. I ran in a blizzard in Montana, a monsoon in Texas, and, heat in Vegas. I mean, so rainstorms. It was the wettest month on record in Atlanta. So it was really challenging, but I had the ability to come back and get dry and change. So I took advantage of that. Yeah. The other thing, and then on the mental side of it, it's a huge component because it's really deflating to do this. Because a lot of times I'd have to if you don't get ahead of the clock, I'm out there up until 11, 12 o'clock, midnight, and I'm working full days at this point. You had to turn around and get the miles in at like 4 or 5. I had to, because I had to work a full day and family, dinner, put my kids down. I didn't have a window. So mentally, it was really deflating. And there were so many days that I wanted to quit. And, you know, you've heard me say this, Colin, but for anyone that's listening, I have a very simple mantra that I use, 2 words that have really impacted my life that I used consistently on the mental side of this. And that's remember tomorrow. Remember how my decisions will impact me tomorrow. So if I did decide, you know what, no one's going to know. No one's going to know. I'm just going to post that I did it, but I didn't really do it. No one's going to know if I take tomorrow off. No one's going to know if I take a shortcut, you know, but I'm going to know.
Yeah.
And remember how that's going to make me feel tomorrow. Remember the tone that's going to set for other decisions in my life. So for anyone that's doing this challenge, that's going to, like, it's faced with what I was faced with almost every day for the last 10 days, which is, I don't want to do this anymore. Why? This is stupid. I have 4 kids I should be playing with. Remember how the decision is going to impact you tomorrow. And then, now that I've done it, nobody can take it away from me, Colin. Listen, they can say whatever they want about me. They can say I'm this, I'm that, I did this, I suck at this, but you can't take this away from me. You can't take the medals in my bedroom from the 100-mile finishes.
And if you had taken day 23 off or something right now, you wouldn't, like, you would know that right now. Like, deep down, you'd be like, I did most of the calendar club or whatever. So
it's bigger than that.
For sure.
It's an invitation. It's an invitation to make the same decision and shortcut in everything in your life.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to myself. If I did this, I'm opening up the floodgates and saying it's okay to take the shortcut in other things. And I'll tell you something, man. Excuse the language. It's a fucking grit party. It's a grit festival.
Yeah.
Because it is a serious gut check.
Well, which is why I'm excited that we've got so many people signed up. You were able to do it in February before we had to social distance, and I thought it was so cool. Like, you had what, like 200-300 people come join you on like the last couple of days. I saw on Instagram you guys were handing out the smoothie bowls and like you had some positive energy. Like, that was super cool to see. Obviously, that's not happening the month of April, but with already a couple hundred people signed up, I hope we can really support each other in the digital world, like get that kind of that energy flow going back and forth. Definitely be able to come on here on the Instagram live when it gets hard, you know, whether that is, you know, day 10, day 15, and we're going to have some Q&As where it's like, what are people struggling with? Where, you know, I always say the most important muscle any of us has is the 6 inches between our ears. The body is going to get tired, but if we stay mentally sharp, we are going to get through this. And I feel like we can uplift each other. We've got someone right here who said they flew in to join you run. Like, that's freaking amazing, bro. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah. Two things I want to point out. My friend Tim Snee and Kevin Walker flew in to keep me company the last couple of days, and I don't think I would have finished without them. My friend Mark Brown, he did probably 13 runs with me. I went to done. And Austin Cohn, who's the genius behind this, just joined this conversation, who kind of came up with this idea. I forgot what you called it originally before we rebranded it and brought it to life, Austin. But it's got legs, this calendar club. And I'm just proud of you, Colin, for taking it up a level and inviting more people to participate. You know, Colin and I will be donating meals, up to 10,000 meals. We're going to do 10,000 no matter what, probably. But in honor of everybody that participates, we'll do that probably starting halfway a day of the month challenge. Calendar club's way better, Austin. We'll start halfway through and we'll fulfill that. I've already got that teed up locally here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, but if I can just add one thing, Colin, you know, you have prioritized the second part of your life, the last 5 years, 10 years since your accident, to adventure, challenge, and living a life of things that inspire you to push yourself and learn about yourself in ways physically that you never dreamed of even being possible. Impossible, actually. And this is a challenge that for anybody on here, unless you are an extreme ultra runner, it's unheard of. And it might seem easy on paper. Oh, you're going to run, but you know, go out and run 18 miles tomorrow, and then 19, and then 20, and 21, and still be like, wow, I haven't even come to nearly the halfway point.
Not even in the last week. Not even in the last week yet.
Right. You're not even halfway through the miles. I did over 1 million steps. It was 1.1 million steps that I took in this journey. Go like this 1.1 million times and your finger will fall off. This is a legit challenge. And what I love about you is you're not someone that celebrates the wins and says, okay, I did this. I walked across Antarctica. I did the rowing, the iron, all the stuff that you've done. I love that you called me up and you said, hey, I'm thinking about doing the calendar club. I said, well, why don't you just go on Instagram with me right now and say, I'm going to do it. And you said, okay. And you did it. And if more people didn't take the time to talk themselves out of things because they're scared, they're not good enough. You know how many times I said I'm not good enough in business, or I'm scared in business, and then punched myself in the face, and I'm glad that I did and kept going? And what you're doing is you're giving people a platform now to participate in something that's going to be a monster gut check. And all they have to do, there's only 2 outcomes. My friend Chad Wright always tells me, 2 outcomes. Either you're victorious in this, or you've left everything out. You've given it every ounce of energy, and that's acceptable too.
100%.
Any other outcome is unacceptable. Failure is acceptable if you've left it all out there, or you're injured and whatever. But just saying, I don't want to do this anymore because I don't want to go out there in the snow for 5 hours, is unacceptable. And if you could give people the gift of that lesson in April, you have done an amazing thing for people's entire futures, for decades to come.
Absolutely. I've found with all the things when I've challenged myself to these types of things, I'm very excited about this challenge, but what are the other things? I mean, someone's asking, what's the challenge? It's the calendar club. We're running the number of miles of the date of the month. So April 1st, 1 mile, April 10th, 10 miles, etc. It's 465 miles total. There's a link in my bio if you want to join. We've got about 200 or so people already participating with us. It's going to grow even bigger. Those are for people that are just tuning in. But what I've found when I've challenged myself these things, when you step outside of the comfort zone, that is where you grow. And I love that you're talking about kind of the ripple effect of this, like the experience that you had in February and that we'll hopefully have in part with us this month in April is profound when it's happening. But the lessons you learn by that discipline, by that grit, by this time right now when we're all, a lot of people are stuck indoors and whatnot, but we can have this positivity, this reason to kind of get up in the morning, get moving, keep our day structured when things are a little bit out of whack, obviously still following all the social distancing guidelines, but running alone is something that a lot of us, United States anyways, are still able to do. I know I am where I'm going to be in Oregon doing this. But it really is about that. It's not about just this month. It's about what is that change in you for the future? What can you become? What does that allow you to believe? Like you said, this, you look at it on paper, you think, that's this, but I watched you do this and I know a thing or two about running. Like, this is a freaking hard challenge. Like, that's why I called you up and I said, hey bro, like, I've done some crazy hard stuff, but like, man, like that's a pretty hard challenge. Like, what do you think? And you're like, let's go on Instagram. Let's announce it right now. Let's do this. And I'm all in, but I know that it's going to get gritty. It's going to get tough. And I love that we have this community around it, to support us. It reminds me a little bit, obviously, of the amazing events that we have, the 29029, which, we both love so much. And it's a community. When community can come together and do hard things together, it is a profound thing. It is so beautiful when that happens. And I'm excited that the Calendar Club can have that kind of an impact this month.
Yeah. So a lot of people are asking me if I broke it up into multiple runs or if you're allowed to. Yeah, you can get the miles however you want. Part of the fun for me was strategizing every day. I mean, I became obsessed and consumed with this, like any goal. You have to be, if you're not all in and obsessed, you'll probably break. So I was all in. And one day I was like, I'm just going to run day 24. I'm like, every hour, I'm just going to run a mile. I'm just going to get up and I'll run a mile every hour. And then, let me bank 10. And then the last 14 hours of the day, I'll just run mile. I didn't do that. But you start thinking about all the
like a mile and take a break, a mile and take a break.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no rules. This is a cumulative challenge. You have 24 hours to run.
You've got to get them in any way you can over that time.
Yeah. So you have this, I think you might have froze. Yeah. It's, I prefer to break the miles up throughout the day. Yes, I did do fruit till noon throughout the challenge. I've never deviated from that. 30 years unwavering. So you have the ability to try different things and experiment. And again, this is why I love these kind of things, going into the unknown. You start to, create your own habits, your own rituals. You learn about yourself. You see what works. You carry those tools into real life. How patient I was with my kids, how present I was. This forced me to be so present in my life. This is one of the best challenges I've really participated in. And
raise your hand in the comments. Put a thumbs up in the comments if you're sold. If you maybe were on the fence but now are thinking about joining the club with us this month, put a thumbs up in the comments if you're coming with us. I know there's a lot of people out there that are on this journey with us already. So anyways.
Colin, one more thing we're going to do. So Colin and I, we're going to create a calendar club. You're not in it yet, Colin. So I'm going to create it. Okay. You'll have to join it. Okay. We're going to do that, but we talked about this.
Yeah.
The Calendar Club Hall of Fame, where once you do it, you can register, what you did, your name, the month, and the discipline. Because some people might bike this. Some people are doing it in meters, rowing. Some people are doing it in steps. Some people are doing it in kilometers. Some people have done push-ups or sit-ups, their own version of the Calendar Club. Here's my wife.
What's up?
And by the way, your significant other is a big part of this too, because they have to be, I was going out at like 10 o'clock and every day I got, is this safe? Is this a good idea? And then that weighs into the mental side too, because you start thinking maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it's not safe. But we're going to have a Calendar Club Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And, we'll be able to register and see other people that did. It's going to be great, man.
I'm trying to own I love all the thumbs up. We see we got Off Making Memories. We got Heart Goes Here, Greener Jr., Low G, Hawks 565. We got so many We got so many people in the club already, and hopefully all of you are going to be in the Hall of Fame once you complete it. Brian McGrath Davis, FOMO, man, why don't you join in? We know you run 100 miles like it's nothing, brother. What's up?
Easy month for Brian.
Easy month for Brian. That's just like another day at the office.
Brian's got a little switch that goes from like Brian, like super smart, regular, to like boom. And when that switch flips, he goes into like, you remember the guy in Get Smart, the robot?
Yeah.
I forget, Laramie or whatever. He's Laramie from Get Smart. He's like,
switches on.
100 miles. Yeah, let's go. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Brian's got 6 years.
One question that people keep asking, and it's come up a couple of times, Jesse mentioned it before, but I think I'll answer it again real quick, which is, can you walk it? And it is about covering the distance. It is really about covering the distance. If you want to split it up a little bit, walk a couple miles, whatever, obviously it's going to be a longer time commitment if you do that. But, Jesse at the end was doing kind of a 7-minute run, 3-minute walk throughout this. It's basically about covering the distance is the key thing. I was going to put one more question up on the screen because I think you could maybe answer this one, which is just like, quick 3 tips to success to complete it. Just like the top 3 tips. Like if it's day 1 tomorrow. We know we can all do mile 1. I think everyone probably believes they can do day 2, day 3, day 4, but at some point in the middle, it starts to get tough. So what are those top 3 tips to succeed to complete the Calendar Club?
Get your miles in early, get ahead of the clock. Don't negotiate your goals. You have a goal. Your goal is to finish it. Don't let any of the self-doubt or negativity impact you. And 3, no matter what, get your shoes on. Just get your shoes on and get outside because you're never going to turn around when you're out. So that's it. Get your miles in early. Don't negotiate your goals. Get your shoes on and get outside. Say to yourself this, just get your shoes on. Just get my shoes on. Get my shoes on and get outside, and then you're up and running. Once you get going, you loosen up. That's another thing I want to add. I was tight the last week, man. Oh, it was slow moving, and it was not easy. But once you get going, you start to loosen up. It gets a little easier.
That reminds me of one of my favorite, I know, mutual friend of ours, Rich Roll, but he says it mood follows action. Mood follows action. It's like you put the shoes on. you take the action, and then the mood follows the act. Like then you start loosening up. You start feeling good. You start getting into that rhythm. I'm a big believer in that. One person said, I think this is a good question, which is, what do you wish? This is what from Ben Jerez. What do you wish you knew before you did it? Like if you could go back and whisper to yourself on February 1st, like, hey Jesse, just want know this. Like, is there something you wish you had known?
Yeah. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be.
But maybe you wouldn't have wanted to know that.
I think this is the perfect month to do it in because we're home and we have more time. I was doing it in a work month with a really, really busy schedule. So it really made it hard for me. But what I wish I knew then that I'll share with you now, don't save the miles till nighttime. Because it gets really harder later in the day. Get it going and share it with the world. Tell people, hey, I'm doing this calendar club with Colin. Tag us, post it. Because once you're out there and you're accountable and the world becomes your accountability partner, it's hard to not succeed. So put some pressure on your shoulders. Let the world know you're doing it. Commit to it. And look, if you get to day 18 and you just can't do it anymore, and you've done 18 miles and that's it, there's no shame in that. There's no shame. There's 7 billion people in the world. 7 billion people. How many are going to try it this month? So anybody that says, oh, you didn't do it, you didn't even try it. I hate when people say to me, Colin, oh, you had this business, man, it didn't work. Or you tried this, oh, you got a DNF, did not finish in the marathon. And I'm like, man, you didn't even try.
I love that.
You're going to go tell me I DNF'd when you didn't even sign up for the race? So anybody that says you didn't succeed you didn't even try. So put a flag in the ground and give it some effort.
That's what I love. And that's to me, why I'm excited. Obviously, I wish at one hand we were all running together, and it was so cool to see all the people running with you in person in February. But one of the things that we have in this digital space, hence we're here on Instagram Live, is like we have the ability to, like you said, plant that flag in the ground. Like you said, Colin, let's go on Instagram and tell people you're doing this. Today we launched a video. Tomorrow it's happening. Like I'm going to be sharing my journey the entire time, but I want people to tag #CalendarClub, tag me, tag Jesse, and we're going to reshare your content because we want people to feel the community of this, but also in your own circles, that personal accountability. When you plant that flag in the ground, you say, I am trying this. You might have some friends in your comments that go, what? That's crazy. You're going to do what? Like your team of friends are going to do this. You're going to do this many kilometers. Like that's insane. That's like running from New York City to Cleveland, Ohio. But you're going to be like, yep, and I'm going after it. Like you said, I love that. Like the people that don't even try, the people that don't even begin, like, who are they to judge you? Like you're going to give it your best at like what? Like I'm not even listening to that person.
Someone just asked if you can do a run bike combo. And the answer is yes. You can create whatever version of this as you want. The spirit of this is to challenge yourself. If you're a professional cyclist, and you said, I'm going to go do this calendar club, that's not challenging. You're riding 30 miles a day, 50 miles a day anyway. But if that is a challenge for you, whatever it is that takes it to something that gets you to the point that you want to quit, to me, that's the real that's the real litmus test. If it's not super challenging, go do your regular exercise. So whatever combo you do, it's totally fine, and there's no rules. I mean, it's not like, this is a sanctioned race, but you want it to be challenging, and you want it to break you and push you, because that's why you do it.
Yeah, we're doing this a step outside of our comfort zone. We don't want people to get injured in the process of doing this, but we want people. It's like, look, if you were gonna, look, if you've never run before, a 5K, a 10K, like those are great goals. And so there's a way, get a bunch of team members to do it. If you, are in a place right now where you can't actually leave your house and run responsibly with this, but you have a Peloton bike in your house, like find out a way to do it on your Peloton bike that still pushes you, that still, max it out. Look, the kilometers challenge, like the miles challenge, what I'm attempting, I'm excited, and that's what Jesse pulled off. So I'm trying to follow in my man Jesse's footsteps. Although I will say April has one day longer than February. Just saying, brother. But no, for
I'll
real,
run that last day with you.
Yeah, I know you will. No, but for real, like kilometers, like if there's a lot of people who signed up today in the sign up sheet. If you haven't signed up yet, you can find the link in my bio under the calendar club. Please sign up. We've got a couple hundred people participating. We're going to donate 10,000 meals to the first responders, the heroes, the nurses, the doctors, people fighting coronavirus, in an effort to kind of inspire people to participate in this. But a lot of people sign up for kilometers. Like, let's talk about that just for a second. Like, the last day is still translated to miles, 18.5 miles. It's roughly 60% the distance, but that's still a big challenge. Like, I mean, you're still talking about something like, 280, 300 miles over the course of the month. Like, don't take that lightly. That's not like some soft, like, oh, hey, I didn't do this hard challenge. Like, that is a real challenge. So if you're kind of on the fence of miles might sound too far, do the kilometers with us. Or you can get a team, you and your friends, involved in it, split the miles up between you. But I like what you said, Jesse. Make sure that whatever goal you set, whatever flag you plant in the ground right now, that it's a little, makes you a little nervous. It's a little bit out of your comfort zone. Like for me, taking on 465 miles in a month, like I'm a little nervous. That's going to push me. It's going to be tough. So whatever you commit to, who's listening, who's joining the club with us, commit to something that's going to challenge you a little bit or a lot so that you grow. And on the other side, it's like Jesse says, no one will ever be able to take this away from you afterwards. And that is what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and I think some people are mentioning a couple of comments I'm seeing. Can you do a half calendar club? Sure. I mean, why not? I mean, I think whatever. It's about being active, challenging yourself. I'm not going to shave my head again. I'm married with 4 kids. Can't do that. Bob Wood asked about if anyone else can help donate or add on to the meals. We're just not set up to do that, but I do encourage people to do something that Sarah and I have been doing, which is just ordering locally and sending it to the emergency rooms at the local hospital. We've called in advance and coordinated it. So we just order to support the local restaurants, and then they just give the food to the first responders, which is what we're going to do, Colin and I here. Push-up challenges are great. Sit-up challenges are great. Yeah,
there's all sorts of different ways to do it.
You could walk 1,000 steps.
Yeah, 1,000
day
steps.
1, 2,000 steps. Day 2, all the way to 31,000 steps is 16 miles.
Yeah. So before we finish up here, I'm personally excited. I'm excited that we're doing this. I'm excited about the positive impact it's having. I'm excited about the community around it. I think we're going to do some fun things, a little TBD on that, but Jesse and I have talked about definitely doing some Instagram lives while we're out there running. Certainly going to be doing some check-ins, like, every few days, do some check-ins like this, see how everyone's doing. Jesse had mentioned maybe even getting everyone that's participating. So if you sign up, we might do a Zoom call, and I'll be like on a Saturday, be like, hey, it's day 5. Let's all go literally run some miles together in this digital world, shoot the shit over a digital Zoom call or something like that. So look forward. And also some of my partners are excited to we'll TBD on this, but throw in some giveaways, some gear, some fun stuff like that for people who participate. So it's going to be a real fun month. No doubt about it. But really, to me, I want to definitely say a heartfelt reason for me is pushing myself, but also in a time where I'm not medically trained. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a first responder. But I am so grateful that we have so many people on the front lines of this crisis out there fighting the good fight right now, supporting us, keeping us healthy. And for those of us who are stuck, at home and things like this, an ability for us to be healthy, because mental health on the other side of this challenge is going to be so key. And for me anyways, one of my outlets is when I physically exercise, when I challenge myself. That's actually when I am my best self. I love what you said earlier for those just joining. But Jesse, you were like, been a better father in the month of February and March, a better husband, a better business person. Like, to me, the creative juices and the positivity come from taking on challenges like this. And that's where I am my fully best self. And I encourage people to really look at it through that lens as well.
Yeah. And the last thing I would say is just, whether it's this challenge or something in April, it's really important to do things. At least, listen, I'm gonna be 52 years old, man. And, I don't have all the answers at all, but what I have found is that when you do things that make you proud of yourself, great things happen. And it really helps in all the buckets of your life. It helps you be a better parent, employee, boss, whatever. And this is just something that I was proud of that I finished because I didn't want to. I can honestly say there were a lot of nights where I did not want to do it. And I knew nobody was looking, but I can look you in the mirror, Colin, and say, I did it, every step of it. And it makes me feel proud. And so whatever it is in April, if it's not this challenge, I would just encourage people that are watching this or listen to this or have kids or whatever, whether it's April and beyond, it's just important to put things on your calendar that make you proud of yourself. And they don't have to be the biggest things, you know, like climbing Everest, and I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just using, they don't have to be like the hardest challenges, but things that, it could be little things that you do, walking someone across the street that make you proud of yourself. And this is a monumental thing that you'll look back on and be proud of yourself, whatever the version.
100%. Michael Gervais just came in here. I don't know if you know Michael Gervais. You should, Jesse, if you don't. He is like the preeminent sports psychologist. We might have to do a little Instagram live with him at some point, but he's trained all the best Olympians. He's on the sidelines with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. His podcast, Finding Mastery, is amazing. That's a guy that knows a thing or two about what it takes in the mind. So shout out, Michael. Come. I hope you're running some miles with us, brother. But, you know, last but not least, I think this is a great way to conclude it. But exactly what you said. I'm excited to take on this challenge with all of you. For those just joining, you can join the Calendar Club. There's a link in my bio to join this with us. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff in the digital world, sharing each other's stories throughout. Jesse's going to be here supporting all of this as the Sage Master, the Sensei, who has already completed the task with dropping all sorts of knowledge as it gets hard for all of us, as well as running many of the miles. But yeah, man, sign up and share it. Like you said, I think the biggest takeaway from this is for those of you who are on that are actually already committed, or those of you on the fence, like commit, sign up on the sheet that's there so we can stay in track of everyone. But more than anything, put it up on your Instagram or around your dinner table tonight. Like, tell your wife, tell your husband, tell your kids, whoever it is, tell them that you are doing the Calendar Club, because that kind of planting that in the ground, that commitment to it is where it begins. And then I think Jesse said it best. It's simple. What do we do tomorrow? We put our shoes on. We put our shoes on. We get up early. We put our shoes on. That's the first step. Mood follows action. Put your shoes on. Get out the door. That's day one. Then you've got already one day in the bank. I've already got my whiteboard, you know, calendar up there, and I look forward to every single day taking that red X and just crossing it off. We got Michael Gervais. He says, count me in. All right, brother. We got Michael Gervais. Join the club. He is planting the flag. My man, Michael Gervais, he is in for the win. That's right. We got a lot of people joining. There's a lot of fun people joining. Our man, Mike Posner, he's made a team. So Mike Posner's in this. Keep going. Keep going. Aubrey Marcus, who I did a talk with yesterday, he's your boy. He said he's in for 5 days. I think we're going to get him to beyond that, but he's at least committed to the first 5 days. That guy's a beast. He can hold his breath for like 5 minutes. He can do even more. So we got a lot of fun people participate in this. We got Michael Gervais now. It is going to be an awesome month, y'all. Get ready. Buckle up. Buckle up. And I also will say, I hope I'm this enthusiastic on May 1st when we're doing the recap of the Calendar Club, or I'll be like broken, like,
Yo,
bro, like.
Colin, I'm going to say one more thing. This is another thing. I think this is. I'll end the thought process on this. What's up, DJ Hurricane? What's up, DJ Hurricane? DJ Hurricane from the Beastie Boys. People said to me, "Don't get ahead of this. Don't get ahead of this." So don't jump to the last week. Don't jump ahead to the next day. This is a challenge of being mega present and being where your feet are. So, you know, a lot of people immediately go to, oh, how are you going to feel on day 27, 28, 29? Don't go there. Tomorrow's day 1, day 2, then day 3. Don't jump ahead. Just be present on accomplishing that day. Don't look at this gigantic task ahead of you. When you get to 28 miles, woohoo, when you get to day 28, don't say, oh, how am I going to do this again tomorrow? Just be in 28 and finish it and check it off and be like, all right, tomorrow's another day. Listen, this is so brutal. Colin, one day at a time, brother.
One day at a time. That's right. Be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. Take it one day at a time. I was crying frozen tears when I got dropped off in Antarctica on my first few steps out of the plane. I still had 932 miles to go. That first mile was brutal. But you get through 1 mile, then you get through 2 miles, then you get through 5 days, and before you know it, you start chipping away. But don't look to the future. One day at a time. I'm so excited. I'm excited we got Michael Gervais and all these other people. We got DJ Hurricane up in here. We got people of all sorts of participating. So anyone around the world, come participate, run, do the kilometers, get yourself a team if you want to split it up that way. But whatever you do, challenge yourself this month. Calendar Club, you can sign up in the link below. Share it with your friends, family, and Jesse knows better than anyone what we're in for, but he's going to be here with us participating as well. So, and then shout out one last time to the first responders, the nurses and doctors who are supporting through the charitable cause of this. 10,000 meals going out to the front lines. We have a great participation in this. So thank you everyone for coming in. I will post this, share it, and day 1 tomorrow. See you out there on the run.
And before I go, Zoom froze, you sucker. Good luck, Colin.
Peace.
I don't know how to shut this off. I might be on your feed for hours.
Okay, you're just going to be just hanging out on my feed forever because you don't know how to shut it off. All right.
No.
Peace, everyone.
Be good, Colin. Thank you, man.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. We got a classic Jesse Itzler, Zoom freeze your face to close it out. Excited to see you all out there. If you haven't signed up yet, the link is in my bio to sign up. We'll keep track of everyone. Fun giveaways, and more than anything, the charitable component, 10,000 meals. We get good participation in for that, so the more people we get in there. The Calendar Club, 1 mile for every date of the month. We got an amazing crew. Can't wait to see you all out there and in the digital world. Let's run some miles together for a good cause. Peace.